Folks, welcome back. I'm Rudy with Alpha Investments. I had a couple patron messages that were very interesting. If Pokemon has proven to be like the best in industry and best in business model with cards, print runs, longevity, secondary market respect, I guess utility, I guess some people play the game, why doesn't everybody copy Pokemon? This is such a simple, basic question that nobody can seem to, why doesn't Hasbro Wizards of the Coast simply adopt the Pokemon business model? And you would think something at this level, people would just copy it and make their card games work, right? So first, I want to go into this Pokemon thing. So we're about to hit 30th anniversary of Pokemon, 30 years. And no matter how the internet and everyone's opinion is, that's fantastic. That's a great opinion. Nobody cares. Pokemon has mastered the concept of printing, selling, and printing money and running the Pokemon business. There is nothing else on this planet, in the markets, any other card game that can do, copy, or just mimic what Pokemon has done. Pokemon has literally, they have polished it perfectly. If you look at the print runs, long term, perfect track record of 29 years of every product being successful. If you look at the secondary market, the respect and love and the way Pokemon navigates it, home run again. If you look at the reprint policy, well, Rudy, they've reprinted the base sets and done all these evolutions and classic editions, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. They have mastered the concept of not being greedy and not destroying their own secondary market. This is the biggest thing that we see every so many years with Magic the Gathering, Papa Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, and a bunch of dumbass management people. They don't seem to ever be able to figure out how to navigate their card game. Magic and Wizards operates on this business model where they always try new things, they throw shit at a fan, and it flings around the room, and they go, well, shit, that worked pretty good. Well, that didn't work at all. They have this bizarre attitude. But when you look at Pokemon, they have booster boxes, and they have Elite Trainer boxes, ETBs, and they make small little supplementary accessory items and ancillary items for big box stores. They don't reprint every card. They don't have Secret Lair. They don't take the chase cards from Sword and Shield or Evolving Skies or Chilling and reprint them in Scarlet Violet. They don't take all the Scarlet Violet hits and make a master set. They just don't do stupid shit. They don't make dumb decisions. It really is on a fundamental, watered down, first grade level Timmy math. It really is that basic. Now again, 90% of people who buy Magic play the game. 90% of people who buy Pokemon do not play the game. That is probably the number one biggest difference between Magic and Pokemon, the utility aspect. But I do not understand why Wizards and Hasbro, there are many times in these cycles, in these years, in these decades, in the last 30 years of Magic, there are so many moments that everybody universally scratches their head and says, how can a company that's been printing cards since the 90s still become this stupid? And then you see, imagine if Pokemon made a Pokemon collector box or a Pokemon Masters Edition or a remastered, and they just started reprinting everything and they charge $1,000 a box or $500 a box. Imagine if they did that? They never will. They don't do it because Pokemon doesn't need to. They have navigated the maze for so many years. They have literally, come on. Folks, let's be straightforward here. We're later in the video now. Most people are just gone and crying, whatever. Let's be honest. If Pokemon wanted to literally build 10 more printers and 20 more factories and put everything online, they have the money to do it. They can do anything they want, right? Can we all acknowledge, If they truly wanted to print 1 million booster boxes of every set, they could do it. They understand they'll probably get a short-term surge in revenue. But the weirdest thing is, like with Hasbro and Magic, all these managers and corporate people, but we never really know, like, who are these corporate people with Pokemon? Who are these corporate who are these mysterious white coat people that nobody has ever heard of? I've never met anybody who's actually met corporate Pokemon people at the top. Like, who are these people? No one's ever seen them. No one's ever heard from them. There's no public PR. There's no public anything. There's nothing. A little weird, isn't it? Because again, they have mastered the art of the secondary market, printing your own money. You don't communicate with the public because no matter what, it'll punch you in the face, like the Pikachu face in the Chuck Norris thing. Number 2, you don't destroy your own thing. Number 3, you don't go back and reprint your same cards over and over until you milk it and destroy it. And then you're like, well, I guess we can't make master products anymore. I guess we fucked that up. All right, let's put a slot in the back of each booster pack called the list, and then we'll dilute and we'll destroy the value of all of our own cards again. Yes, you in the back. What's the point of that? I'm not really sure. There's got to be it's just the world we're in. It is. I don't believe Pokemon can be duplicated. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I know everybody's excited about Gundams and Riftbounds and One Piece and Lorcana and Sorcery and Weiss and Hololive and Godzilla. Whew. And then, of course, you have the Flesh and Blood, Pokemon, Magic, and I guess Yu-Gi-Oh! Does anybody give a shit about Yu-Gi-Oh? Or Yu-Gi-Oh! Just makes a new set and it always just collapses because they're just morons still? They're still morons? Okay. Yeah, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh!'s still out there, but again, every product they make just completely collapses and I don't know who the fuck buys it. So, when we look at this stuff, it's one of these moments where it's like, One Piece is on the path. I mean, let's be honest. For the first time in the last 10, 20 years, I've been doing this stuff professionally. Am I professional? Professionally. One Piece is the first card game that we're 14, 15, 16 sets in, and they're not destroying their own brand. They're not going back and overprinting and reprinting and destroying everything. And it's managed by Bandai. What was that in the back? You didn't mention Lorcana? Ugh. Ravensburg and Disney. Yeah, I'm sure they've got great management. That's why they dump their own shit on Amazon too. So it's like One Piece is the first time I've seen something that's proven over multiple years in 10, 15 sets in that doesn't destroy their own cards and equity in secondary market. And that's probably one of the reasons we're seeing explosive growth in One Piece worldwide. The sealed product of all One Piece sets across the board are just, I mean, let's be honest. I've sold massive One Piece to patrons in the last couple years. And there are thousands of you guys that bought One Piece from me that have made perverted amounts of money. And that's awesome, but it's making me step back and say, One Piece isn't going back and screwing. Like, One Piece went back one time. And they reprinted like OPO 7 and 8 and 9 or something. And it like tanked the market. And since then, they were like, oh shit, we probably shouldn't do that. Like, they did one thing like that. Kind of reminds me of like Magic and Wizards in like 1995 when they reprinted like Chronicles and shit. And the market just became haywire from the Legends, Antiquities, and the Dark. And they did Chronicles and the white bordered and they never did it again. And then, of course, the Reserve List was born. It's interesting to see. I mean, we're in 2025. To see Wizards of the Coast making certain decisions with Magic, it's like, it's been 30 years. Like, Mark Bathwater's still there telling people they're not going to reprint Collector's Edition. He's telling people, like, oh, well, we got to discontinue set boxes and draft boxes because it's too confusing. Yeah, because you made so many products, people got confused. Like, you would think certain things would not be a problem. And then you're like, well, what's going on over there? And then everybody looks at Pokemon, and Pokemon still makes the same booster box, the same ETBs, and then ancillary fancy boxes for big box stores. You know, little tins and little blister packs for all the, big box stores. And it's Pokemon's about to hit 30 years. There's never been another example in modern culture, society, history of a company making 30 years of products that has 100% success rate of long-term collectability and growth and investability, and people love the product. I've never seen it before. Like, that shouldn't exist. Like, that should not even be possible. There should not even be a realm of conversation that somebody has even unlocked or achieved what Pokemon has achieved. It's surreal. It shouldn't exist like that. And yet, after 30 years of data, you have everyone online. Well, why doesn't Pokemon just print more? I'm not paying $250 for a box. Then good, don't fucking pay $250 for a box. Go rally everybody else on the internet. Bash every store, bash every distributor, bash every then just don't buy it. Move on with your life. Well, no, I got to go online and I got to rally the troops and get other people to think like me. Nobody cares, bro. There are millions, tens of millions of people in the Pokemon market worldwide. Doesn't matter what content creator you are, even if you get 50,000 views on a Rudy Pokemon video, that's not even 0.01% of the size of the Pokemon market reach that you're hitting. I'm like a blip. I'm a raindrop. I'm a little single sperm inside of... Anyways, you would think that Magic and these other companies would figure it out. That is the most fascinating conclusion of everything. Okay? We are at a point where the internet just goes, well, why doesn't Pokemon make more product? I can't give... Because Pokemon they are the king. They've mastered it. They know what they're doing. Yes, they could put 10 factories and 100 printing facilities. But they know if they just keep doing what they're doing, they have literally unlocked the infinite money glitch where this company can just endlessly make sets, release them, move forward to new blocks, new releases, new sets. The old ones go out of print, and it just works because they have so much credibility with the market. They've never gone back and said, you know what? I'm going to reprint Team Up. You know what? I'm going to go back and reprint Sun and Moon Guardians Rising. You know what? Let's print XY Evolutions. Like, once they move forward, they have built the credibility and trust with the market that's it. They don't turn around and create 4,000 secret layers that just annihilate their own products. They don't do that. They don't say, well, maybe we should make Pokemon, maybe we should triple the price, and they don't do any of that. They literally just keep making Pokemon sets and have artists make new art with new cards, new mechanics for the 1% of people who play the game, and that's it. It's the most simplest approach and basic formula I've ever seen, and it proves in this world Pokemon is the original adopter of the Rudy stay the course. Like, we all have to acknowledge Pokemon has been printing, designing, and making sets. They don't overprint them. Sometimes in the past they did, and then they go, oh shit. And now we're in 2026 almost. And they just stayed the course for 30 years on just endlessly making sets. Not going back and reprinting old out of print sets, not destroying their own brand. And they've at this point the company has realized if they just keep doing what they're doing, this shit's gonna go on for this is probably gonna be 100 years. Can you imagine the Pokemon 40th anniversary, the 50th anniversary? Because they don't destroy their own brand. Everybody knows that it doesn't matter what the box price or the card is. If you just wait, it goes out of print, it gets old, and it becomes more and more desirable as we move into the future. They don't destroy their own brand. They don't go back in time. They don't do anything complicated. They are the most basic, simple, non-divisive, non-aggressive, non-destructive secondary market company I've ever seen. And even when we get some softness in bear markets, whether it's Pokemon's fault or the overall economy's fault, we'll be right back to a conversation of everybody being negative, and you'll see Pokemon just continues forward. And it's an incredible thing. It is truly I'm sorry, Pokemon is like the Black Swan event. It's like the 3-Eye Atlas. Like, once in your lifetime, something crazy happens, and it's like, how is that possible? But guess what? It is. And they figured it out. And no, they're not going to print to oblivion. No, they're not building 20 more factories with 100 printers. They're just staying the course, reinforcing that in the long run, the most simple, basic thing worked. And then you've got Papa Hasbro over here, like a bunch of dumbass Timmies, always trying new shit. Sets boom and go crazy. Sets collapse. Everyone's angry. I got a great idea. I heard about this micro penis center. There's a new micro center company. It's been around for a while. But you know what we should do? Let's sidestep a lot of inventory from Amazon and LGS's, and let's send it to this big box company. And they said they're interested because the market's strong. And it's Spider-Man, right? And let's put all the product in all these stores all over. And then when they can't sell it and they lose their ass, they'll be forced to fire sell it and put it on clearance, and then it'll just have ripples in my own brand. That'll be a great idea. Like, what'd you think was going to happen? It's just, the more you step back and think about this stuff, I'm not saying Magic is dead. I'm not saying One Piece is dead. All these things are going to continue to boom and do very well. But I'm telling you all very clearly, Pokemon is king. And I know it's going to sound crazy. Even if the market cools off, this and that, I can't comprehend what Pokemon stuff, even in the Mega Evolutions era, what these boxes and what some of these things are going to be. From Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, I can't comprehend what some of these prices are going to be in 2028 or 2030. Like, my brain, I'm like, Evolving Skies is going to be some $5,000-$10,000 box shit. I mean, the world, it's going to be a crazy thing. And I just want you all to understand that it's amazing. It's almost like Pokemon stayed the course, kept it the most simple, basic thing they could possibly do. Let's make cool looking cards. Secret, fun little rares and illustrators and textures and full arts, and let's just constantly make new art. Let's not destroy our previous products, and let's just stay the course. You would think some of these other dumbass companies would learn that. That's all. That's my rant.